All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are breaking down Raiders rookie tight end Michael Mayer and his performance against the New York Giants. This is a Raiders football team that came out with attitude, led by Mayer, certainly on offense. We've got a great set of cut-ups for you to go through today. If you appreciate this content, as always, give us a like, give us a comment with any feedback you might have. But without further ado, let's jump into the film. All right, let's start with the running play. There is Michael Mayer. He is on the offensive right, our left side of the screen, and this is going to be a designed cutback here from the Raiders offense. This is a play a lot of teams in the NFL use. Basically, they're going to get everybody zone blocking to the offense's left right here, just like this. You're going to get number 81, Hooper, the backside tight end. He's going to come across and kick out the end man in the line of scrimmage, and you're going to get the running back taking a step to the offense's left and then cutting behind that block. The key block here is with Michael Mayer, again at the tight end and with the right tackle. It's going to basically end up like a double team between these two guys working into number 58, the linebacker of the New York Giants. Mayer does a phenomenal job making an impact block at the point of attack. Let's check out how it goes. All right, you can see all the offensive linemen working to their left right there. You can see Hooper at the snap working to kick out Kayvon Thibodeaux, the end man on the line of scrimmage for the New York Giants. Now let's focus on this double team right here between Mayer and the right tackle. Coming off, look at Mayer just bury him inside. That is an impact block, folks. Right on his hip, blow him inside, create that massive cutback lane for Josh Jacobs. And here's what I really love. He comes off on the linebacker and drives number 58 back. Look at that impact right there. The contact is made what? About 2 yards short of the 5-yard denominator right there. 58 ends up about 2 yards past the 5-yard denominator right there. That's 4 yards straight back. That's an awesome job by Mayer. I tell you what, right tackle, you got to stay on number 91. Otherwise, this could be a much bigger play. But in terms of just physical downhill football, this is awesome from the Raiders. We talked about Michael Mayer's performance against the Denver Broncos week 1. A lot of what the Raiders did was plays like this. That's why they won the game. And this is why they beat the New York Giants. Because of blocking up front, like with Mayer right here, running like Josh Jacobs, this team can just out-physical people. They've been missing that for a few weeks. They seem to have recaptured that, and Michael Mayer's a big reason why with blocks like these.
Yeah, Nick, and the thing that I love the most right here, the thing you see, Josh Jacobs just falls right behind Mayer. Finally, we see the trust. We see the cultural shift in the Raiders locker room. We see Jacobs trusting his rookie tight end, phenomenal run blocker. So I think things are on the up and up for the Raiders big time. And you see Mayer laying down blocks like this, your running game is going to flourish.
All right, this next play here is just a standard zone blocking scheme to the right. There's Michael Mayer. He's on the backside. He's the tight end right there. Everyone up front from the Raiders is basically going to zone block to the right, kind of taking the gap over, and the defensive player that ends up being in that gap. And that includes Michael Mayer here on the backside, working with Hooper, who's also going to kind of work to cut off number 45 for the New York Giants right there. And if you can't get this guy cut off, if he works across your face like this, what offensive linemen and tight ends are taught is to drive him up the field and give the running back the opportunity to cut off directly behind you. That's exactly what Michael Mayer does on this play, and it opens up a big hole for Josh Jacobs. Let's check it out. All right, you can see up front, everyone working to their right, working up to get the defensive player in their gap. You can see right away, number 68 for the Raiders, he's got penetration going up against that defensive lineman. Josh Jacobs sees that. He wants no part of that. He cuts back to the left, which is a smart move to make for the running back. But as he cuts back, watch this goes. He cuts back, and right there you can see Mayer just driving number 45 for the New York Giants inside. Watch this completely right here. Gets on him, cuts across his face, and keeps burying him inside. It creates a massive cutback opportunity for Jacobs. Here's the one thing from Jacobs, though. Again, I hate playing the freeze frame running back game because it's not fair, right? We're playing 100 miles an hour. They're not going to see the hole. But on the first play, we saw Josh Jacobs run right behind Michael Mayer for success. Look what happens if he runs right behind Michael Mayer here, right up the hash. You've got Myers right there, one-on-one on the safety. Jacobs is going to be one-on-one on number 24 for the other safety. They got the other backside defender cut off by Hooper. I mean, I think this is a touchdown here from Jacobs. He ends up cutting it back completely the other side. It still ends up being a very nice run. Jacobs had a really nice game, so I don't want to demean anything he did in his overall performance. But I tell you what, Michael Mayer does a phenomenal job here. The defensive end wants to cross his face, and he just buries him and washes him down inside. You'll hear that terminology on TV every once in a while. When a defender cuts across your face, you want to wash him inside. The running back will cut behind you. I would love for Josh Jacobs to follow Michael Mayer here, but still, because of Mayer burying the defensive end inside like he did right here with great feet, great motor, great athleticism, it still ends up being a very successful run for the Raiders offense.
Yeah, Nick, and this is a guy in Boogie Basham that he is going up against that was known coming out of college for his elite explosiveness, his elite athleticism for being a guy of his size, and the ability of Mayer just to absolutely blow him off the line, stay with him, drive him all the way across the play is really impressive to me, showing that also Mayer has elite athleticism in his own right.
All right, switching it up now with the sideline view and a passing play here. And this is sort of a standard concept. So you see Mayer right there. He's lined up in a slot position as a wide receiver, tight end split out. The outside receiver is going to run a vertical to basically clear out everything underneath. Mayer's just going to run a quick out here. Aiden O'Connell sees some potential pressure from the New York Giants, so he's going to want to get rid of it and get the ball to Mayer as quickly as possible. But I want to show this play because I think it highlights an element of Mayer's game in terms of toughness, competitiveness, and drive. Let's check out how it goes. All right, you can see the snap. You can see Mayer working the out. You can see Aiden O'Connell's going right to him. He hits him. Right there, Mayer slipping out of tackle. See how he just backpedals for a few extra yards? Folks, let me be very clear about this. Right here at the bottom of your screen, right there, Mayer has a choice. He can either take a step out of bounds and take the number of yards he's gotten so far, or he can expose his entire lower back, his ribs, his kidneys, everything to try and walk forward for a few more extra yards to help his team out. What choice do you think Mayer picks? Helping his team out. This is a new Raiders football team, right? Just 1 or 2 weeks ago, we saw a lot of Raiders playing a little selfish football, only concerned about themselves. Here, Mayer, great example about this, completely exposed right there. He could take a step out of bounds, fall out of bounds, whatever, protect himself, and no one would blame him, right? Still a good gain, 5 or 6 yard completion. But what does he do? He takes extra steps, completely exposed, takes the big hit. I guarantee you that it was incredibly painful and possibly could have injured him, but he doesn't care. He's a competitor, right? He wants to turn a 5-yard gain into a 7-8 yard gain to help his offense out. These are the plays that really get me excited about the future for Mayer and the Las Vegas Raiders. It's selfless instead of selfish football, and it's awesome to finally see that in Las Vegas. All right, let's go back to a running play. Here, the Raiders are going to run an outside zone concept. So here in an outside zone, you're trying to get Josh Jacobs, of course, on the perimeter, hence the outside of the outside zone. And for that to work, you need everybody up front to cut off and take wide angles to cut off the defensive lineman in their gap and potentially the edge defender as well. You can see Michael Mayer right there. Let me clear up the screen for you. His job right here, and it's kind of a two-pronged attack. It's not an easy thing. He has to make sure that this edge defender number 19 right on him doesn't completely fly outside and solidify himself as the outside contained defender. When he does that, he has to work up to the guy who is the outside contained defender. He has to play that way to make sure the right tackle has time to work up to get to number 19 as well. This is a phenomenal job from Michael Mayer. Great execution up front from the Raiders offensive line. Let's check out how it goes. All right, so right there you can see the wide angles everyone's taking up front, right? They're trying to get Josh Jacobs on the outside. Again, look at Mayer. He's checking number 19 from the New York Giants, making sure he's not going to be the outside contained defender. Once he sees him being handed off to number 72 inside, Michael Mayer immediately is going to turn his eyes up to the corner, gets on him, and then just throws him around like a rag doll. This is awesome football, folks. This is smart. This is savvy. This is downhill, physical, run it down your mouth football while also being really fundamentally sound. This is great stuff from Michael Mayer. Make sure number 19 is handled inside and then go bullies the corner. We're starting to see some bully ball out of the Raiders, folks, and that's great to see because that's the personnel they have. The Raiders are a team that should be bullying people. They should be able to blow people off the football. Josh Jacobs should be able to run all over people. They got physical tight ends, play action, big play opportunities with some of these receivers. This is a team that's designed to beat people up, and we're starting to finally see it, and Michael Mayer is a great example of it right here.
Yeah, Nick, and I love how he blows number 25 off the ball, throws him to the side to keep him contained because we all know this is the absolutely blazing fast young rookie out of Maryland, Deonte Banks, a guy that runs a 4.3 40. So if he got to the outside, he is quick enough to maybe put a move on Mayer, but Mayer doesn't even get him a chance. He absolutely demolishes him, throws him to the sideline, keeps him contained. I think this is a really great play by Mayer.
All right, next up, let's go goal line here. The Raiders are basically just doing it's a zone kind of gap scheme. In these kind of situations, you just basically have to take the defender to the direction the player going to in that gap. So you see the left tackle is going to take that gap, left guard's that gap, center's that gap. The right guard's that gap. Left tackle is that gap. Mayer's got that gap. Most likely will be either number 5, Thibodeaux, or potentially the outside defender outside of number 26. Most likely Thibodeaux crashing inside because it is goal line. But here in these goal line plays, I've always believed it's all about attitude because, defensively, they're firing everybody, right? They're firing in all these gaps. They're going to pinch people inside. It's all about getting bodies on bodies and staying with people and fighting for every inch, even though it's going to be ugly. Let's focus on Michael Mayer right here because is this his prettiest rep of his game? Absolutely not. But I want to focus again on his effort and his attitude, and it results in a Raiders touchdown. Let's check it out. Or you can see everyone taking a gap over to the left right there. You can see the linebackers firing, right? It's goal line. You can see Thibodeaux pinching and working inside right there. You can see him right on Michael Mayer. Mayer gets on him. He's kind of fighting. His pad level's high. His feet are close together. His technique really kind of stinks there, to be 100% honest. He's not in a great position. Josh Jacobs has to cut back right there because he feels the linebackers blitzing. Right here, Thibodeaux has a chance to make the tackle. You see that where the contact is made right around the 1.5 yard line. Mayer, again, not in a great position. You can see, look at his lack of a base there. His feet are close together. But here's what I love about this play. Let's watch it the whole duration. Look how much Mayer keeps fighting the entire time. Just keeps fighting, keeps moving his feet, keeps driving, right? Go back there. This is really important to notice because Thibodeaux makes first contact right there, but Mayer keeps moving his body, pushes Thibodeaux off of him, twists him around, allows Josh Jacobs to work his butt off into the end zone. This is just the effort plays, guys. Again, we talk about physical football. We've seen Mayer do it a couple times with some really nice reps. This is far from his most dominant rep here, and against Thibodeaux, who's a really nice player. But that being said, sometimes it's about effort. Sometimes it's about want to. Sometimes it's about fighting for your running backs and the rest of your offensive linemen and tight ends and your rookie quarterback. And that's what we're seeing from Mayer, and that's what we're seeing from the Raiders. It's just fighting for every inch. It's competing. It's playing physical. And that's why the Raiders had a big victory over the New York Giants. They're finally starting to get it. They're finally starting to turn around their attitude.
Yeah, Nick, can you speak about attitude? There's something at the very end of this play that I really like to see, and it's after Mayer drives, after he pummels everyone and gets them through the goal line, he gets out from the bottom of the pile, celebrates to signal the touchdown along with him, Adams, and Miller. It just seems like a different attitude, a different culture on this Raiders team, as you were alluding to. Just they seem like they're playing football again. It's not going to work, having a job. It seems like everybody's out there having a good time playing the game of football that they love. And I just like the little added celebration by Mayer signaling the touchdown at the very end of the play coming out of the pile.
All right, the next play we have for you is another running play. It's more of a standard inside zone concept to the offense's left. So everyone is taking, again, the gap to their left, and we're going to see this work up front across the offensive line right here, drawing out every direction everyone's going. You see Mayer, he's going to take his gap to his left right there. There he is at the tight end. The receivers, these slot receivers, are going to also work upfield and try and cut people off as well. And Josh Jacobs' path is taken at kind of at this angle, and they get north and south and potentially cut back when he sees an opportunity, just when a hole opens up for himself to see. But again, let's focus on Mayer here, because again, we're talking about effort in this situation. And don't be surprised in situations like this, and everyone's taught this, when you have corners close to the line of scrimmage like right here, these defensive ends don't really have outside contain responsibility as much anymore. They're going to try and fight over the top to get involved in the running game. But watch Michael Mayer handle this and allow Josh Jacobs a nice cutback opportunity. Let's check out the film. Or you can see everyone work to the left. You can see Colt Miller gets beat inside. That's a real tough situation to be because he's really trying to take the outside gap, right, the gap to his left, but this defensive end beats him across his face kind of after the left guard would have had a chance to maybe pick him up. It's a tough situation to be in right there. It's sometimes a defensive player makes a really nice play, but watch Jacobs recognize it and cut back. Again, this cutback there is only here because look at Mayer. He is running stride for stride, fighting, playing physical with the defensive end, and opens up the cutback. Again, Thibodeaux makes an incredible play, trips up Josh Jacobs. Otherwise, it's a huge run on the outside right there. But I tell you what, the only reason this cutback is there is because of Mayer's effort, right? He's working, he's driving. These are the things, right? You can see this up front from the offensive line, right? But one of the things, you don't really expect this all the time from tight ends, especially rookie tight ends. But this guy's already blocking at such a high level. Look how he keeps his feet moving. They always say if you're on the backside of these zone run schemes, you want to always keep working to try and reach and cut off these guys because that will allow the running back to cut back behind you because it'll force the defensive end to keep working to get across you. And that's exactly what Mayer does here. He keeps working, gets a movement. Jacobs cuts across. Would have been a huge run if Thibodeaux doesn't make this great tackle. But I tell you what, there's going to be situations later in the year because of effort plays like this from Mayer, where Jacobs will slip out of this tackle and it will be a huge run. All right, we've got a running play here for the last play of this cut up. There is Mayer right there on the offense's left. All right. And we've been talking this entire film sequence about how the Raiders have been playing physical downhill with a lot of effort. And when you play that way and when you execute the running game that way, it gives you opportunity for bigger plays because the defense has to react. When you start playing downhill as an offense, it forces the defense to start playing downhill, and that gives opportunities for star players like Josh Jacobs to create big plays even when you don't execute perfectly. So up front from the Raiders, the key block here on this power concept is going to be a double team working to the backside linebacker right here. They're actually going to pull the backside guard to pick the play side linebacker up. They're going to bring Hooper across to kick out the end man on the line of scrimmage right here. Again, the big block, and let me clear all this up for you, is right here getting movement on number 91 and then getting on the backside linebacker. Watch how Michael Mayer handles this. It's a really nice job getting up the field. He doesn't get a fantastic block on 41, but this is what happens when you play fast and physical. Even when you don't do things perfectly, holes open up. Let's check out how it goes. All right, you can see the guard pulling. You can see the tight end coming around. I actually got that backwards, excuse me. So the guard pulling is kicking out the end man on the line of scrimmage. The tight end is wrapping for the linebacker, but it's the same concept. Let's focus on the left tackle and Michael Mayer here, though. You can see it's supposed to be a double team right there. You can see number 91, he kind of works inside. Mayer makes sure that he kind of secures the hip. You can see how Mayer works in there to make sure number 91 is completely secured inside. Gets really physical, kind of a little over-aggressive, but I tell you what, for the double team, you almost want that. And you can see he wants to come off on number 41, but because he was so aggressive on the double team, he doesn't get a good shot at him. But here's the thing, though. Like I said, when you're playing downhill as an offense, it forces linebackers to play downhill. So watch Michael Mayer come off and only get a shot on his shoulder. But because that linebacker feels he has to fly so much downhill, even though Mayer only gets a piece of him, it still ends up being a big hole for Josh Jacobs to work through. Again, when you play physical, when you play fast, when you play assertive, and you play downhill, even when you don't do things perfectly, holes will open up. And we can see that from the Raiders. Look at this pulling guard. Is this a perfect block? No, not really, not at all. The tight end insert on number 58, good physical contact, but again, is it a demolishing block? Not at all. Right up front, this isn't perfect. Great job by Colton Miller, and obviously Mayer did a good job securing it, working up to the linebacker. He's got to do a better job squaring him up there in the hole. But it's one of those things, when you play physical, when you play fast, and you play aggressive, it forces the defense to react to that. And when they react, it allows players like Josh Jacobs to make big plays. That's the element to the Raiders, right? That's how they're going to wear teams down. They can beat them up at the point of attack with this new attitude, with this new aggressiveness, and as teams are forced to react to it, it allows Josh Jacobs and other big-time playmakers like Davante Adams in the receiving game to take advantage of hyper-aggressive defenses. This Raiders offense, if they can keep this up, and I think they will under this new coaching regime, should become completely different in terms of how they produce on the field. I think they're going to be a force the rest of the season.
Yeah, Nick, and I think this is kind of just what Raiders fans, what we have been looking for all season. This is the culmination of everything, this kind of play. Trust the blocks, let Josh Jacobs run hard, and you see these big gashing gains this Raiders team can create. We've all known they've had the talent to be playing football like they did against the Giants this week. They just haven't had the coaching. So now they have a coach who's competent. Culture is changing. Things are changing. And I think we're going to see a much changed Raiders team these next few weeks.